Americans are working longer today than they ever have. They're pushing retirement farther into the future, and the data actually shows that this phenomenon is getting worse. I'm going to put a graph up right over here so you can look at the data that I'm going to read off my computer here. It says that today, between 2016 and 2022, only 32% of Americans between the age of 60 and 64 have retired. And so everybody thinks most people retire at 65, but the data shows that they're waiting longer. You can see how many previously from 2002 to 2007 were retired. And from 65 to 69, only 70% of people are retired. So that's by 70. And still 83% of people are working by the time they're 75 years old. So they are pushing retirement back farther and farther. I looked up another statistic that said at age 65, only 13% of Americans are taking Social Security. So they're also pushing off taking that Social Security to get higher levels of Social Security as they wait longer in life. That means people are working longer. And does that mean you're going to have to wait to retire? Let's talk about the 3 biggest reasons people can't retire by 65.
Shut up and sit down.
Just in case you're new here, I'm Jeff. This is the Retirement Mentality channel. I want to change your mentality about retirement. The way that people used to retire just doesn't work anymore. We talk a lot about how to retire early, how to invest in real estate, and things you can do to retire a little bit earlier. So if most people aren't retiring until after 65, what are some of the things that are preventing them from retiring at 60, at 62, at 55 years old? Well, the top 3 things that I think are, number 1, the main reason is because of lifestyle creep. We all know what this is, keeping up with the Joneses, lifestyle inflation, that comes by many names. But the truth is, as we make more income, we want nicer things in life. We want to get that new car every 3 years. We want to get the bigger house as we move up the corporate ladder. And these are the things that are just killing your retirement plans. If you could take that extra income and invest more, save more, put it somewhere else, buy another house, put it in your 401k, buy ETFs, you're gonna have a way better retirement than getting that new shiny car in the driveway. There's a study out that says that over 20% of Americans have a car payment over $1,000 a month. This is just insane. When I moved back to the US last year from living in St. Thomas, we obviously had to buy a new car. Well, we had to buy a new car to us. We didn't buy a new car. And I was sitting in a dealership talking to the car salesman, finding out, he was like, "What's your budget?" I was like, I want to spend around $15,000. And the guy actually laughed at me. He was like a 23-year-old kid, and he laughed at me, and he bragged to me that he had a $1,200 a month truck payment. And he expected me to be impressed, and I was like, bro, I feel sorry for you. At your age, a $1,200 car payment, that's more than my mortgage on my first house was. So these cars are just like ridiculously hindering people's ability to retire early, to retire even on time. So if you can get that lifestyle creep under control, don't get the bigger house, don't get the bigger car, drive a used car, and invest that as your income goes up. If you could start investing more, trust me, it pays dividends, see what I did there, in the long run. The second thing that is really postponing when people can retire, I'm gonna call it unexpected middle-aged expenses. And these come in a couple of different varieties. It could be the midlife crisis where, again, you might need that new car, or you might want to invest in a side hustle business where you invest tens of thousands of dollars into some sort of new idea, or maybe you just need to take a sabbatical, or you take time off from work, or you quit a job, or whatever this midlife crisis could be. They tend to be expensive, and if you can have sort of a tamer midlife crisis and not shell out lots of money. Another one that's a midlife expense, I think a lot of people these days, especially as housing is getting less affordable, and they have kids who are getting ready to buy a house, they want to help with that down payment. And they want to help them pay for grad school. They want to pay for the college. They want to over supporting kids these days, I think, is a big expense that people didn't plan in the later parts of their life, that's taking away from that money that could be going into their retirement accounts. A lot of times people are even borrowing against 401ks for these kind of things. Another one that I think is a big one, by the time you're 40 years old, maybe you've lived in your house for 10 years and that kitchen's getting outdated and your black appliances just aren't cutting it anymore. You got to get the stainless steel, and people are doing big house remodels. And this is another place where they might borrow against their 401k, and it gets really hard to pay that money back. And it's just like postponing that retirement. And it's short-term pain today for long-term gain tomorrow. Putting up with that old furniture or the outdated bathroom in the long run might be a better scenario, instead of these big expenses that come sort of in the middle of your life as your income is going up and you think you can afford them, and you're just putting money out to all these things. Weddings is another one. I think parents pay way too much money for their kids' weddings. That's, when your kid is 25 years old or 30 years old getting married, that's going to put you at 50, 55 years old paying $20, $30, $40,000 for a wedding that you weren't expecting. And the third thing is just all that bad debt. I know money's tighter these days and credit cards are getting pulled out, but credit card interest rates are insane right now. 20%, could be higher, 24%. You could be paying on those credit cards, and just recognizing all that bad debt and getting that bad debt off of your books. It's so easy to go online and buy all this crap that you don't need on Amazon, and the truck comes with a big smile on the side of it and delivers all this stuff that you don't need to your house. And just the whole consumerism of all the crap that we buy every day that we don't need just adds up, and it's only $20 here, $30 there, and it's, oh, my credit card balance is only $300, it's only $500, it's $1,000, it's $1,500, and it just slowly creeps up, and it just starts to get out of control. And that bad debt just never seems to get paid off. So if you can eliminate that bad debt and eliminate buying all the crap that you don't need, a lot of people use the proverbial Starbucks cup of coffee, the $4 latte every day that's going to prevent you from retiring. Well, the truth is those things do add up, and the Netflix subscription and this subscription and all these things just add up. And if you could keep those things tamped down and don't use the credit card or pay it off every month, again, it's just going to go so much farther for you being able to invest into your future, to be able to retire early or on time. Let me know what you think. Give me a comment down below if you see things that are preventing people from retiring early, or what your big problem might be, or if you have any tips for anybody else, leave them down below. I sometimes get video ideas off of your comments as well. So thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.